Hi lovelies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda and here is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos and leave commentaries and also educate I, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. So guys, there's this controversy on TikTok about let them eat the cake, and this actually got a lot of people talking and sharing their own opinions, and I was just able to put up the stitches. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section and let's dive into it.
Let them eat cake.
Here, take the bomb.
You see, now I wasn't even going to make any content about the Met Gala because I know a lot of people use the Met Gala as a time to talk about fashion and art, and they use it as a moment of levity in their lives. And trust me, in the times we're getting in, I get it. However, pairing that look with this sound at that event, we need to talk about it. The startling juxtaposition of having an extremely extravagant ball where only the wealthiest people can even attend, side by side with the suffering that we see regularly, is baffling. Like the idea of paying $75,000 for one ticket to attend this event, while most people don't even make that much money in a year, combined with the criminalization of homelessness. That basic essentials in the grocery store are priced out of a lot of people's price points, that mere healthcare is unattainable, that public education is being defunded, people are outraged, as they should be. So to pair that with the ostentatiousness of a Met Gala is surmised in this video. Remember where that phrase comes from, let them eat cake. It reflects a flippant attitude of the aristocracy to the suffering of the common people. And when people couldn't afford to buy a basic essential as bread, that the aristocracy was just like, all right, well, let them eat cake. It shows the massive disconnect, which is further illustrated by the ostentatiousness of this ball. I'm down for fashion. I'm down for fun. I love this stuff. But what was absolutely gross to me was this awareness of the suffering of other people. To pair your Met Gala look with this sound and to essentially say, well, I'm sorry you're suffering, but I'm out here having a great time. Make it make sense.
But we're not going to eat cake. We're going to starve the rich. We're going to eat the rich. Just like the time that the Dutch ate their prime minister. Hi, I'm Kaylee, I'm Dutch, and I'm going to tell you all about the time the Dutch ate their prime minister. No, we did not eat him whole. We killed him, cut out his liver, roasted his liver, and then ate his liver. But you know what? Potatoes, potatoes. Nearly the same thing, right? So in 1672, the Netherlands, known as the Dutch Republic back then, was caught up in a war with England, France, and the two German cities of Cologne and Münster. This year would enter the Dutch history books as the disaster year, which marked the end of the Dutch Golden Age. The disaster year even has its own slogan: the people were irrational, the government helpless, and the country beyond salvation. So Johan de Witt was the unlucky prime minister at the time. For almost 20 years, he was one of the only non-royal leaders in all of Europe. He displeased many Dutch citizens who disliked him, and they would rather have a monarch on the throne instead of, a prime minister being in charge of everything. So the De Witt family was governing the city of Dordrecht since medieval times, and the powerful family held high political positions all over the Netherlands, and people were very displeased with Johan. So in June of 21 of the disaster year, an assassin stabbed De Witt, hurting him gravely, but it didn't kill him. He then resigned. He didn't want to be prime minister anymore. Then his brother was arrested for treason, taken to a prison in The Hague, and his brother was tortured there. This was a very normal part of imprisonment. This was normal at the time. So Johan went to the prison to help his brother and try and get him free. And so, that he succeeded. They left the prison together, and as they both departed, they got captured by a militant mob, which shot both of them and then left them to the crowds. And the crowds did what crowds do best. They lose all sense of sanity. They lose all sense. They go insane. According to some reports, the two brothers were stripped naked, mutilated, and had their livers removed and eaten. So for all the celebrities and all those people that are very rich at the moment, and they're flaunting how rich they are to the rest of us, while we are trying to get by. Try to make the end of the month with a little bit of money left in the bank? Yeah, that's us. People that have to make a decision between getting insulin or having electricity in their homes. This is how insane this world is. We have wars going on, famine, people are starving. Even in first world countries, people are starving. There's a genocide going on. It's time to wake the fuck up. Let's starve the rich. Block them. Don't follow them anymore. Don't engage with them anymore. Make sure that their accounts get drier than the Sahara Desert. Let's support people that actually speak up and do something about it. Let's try and make a difference. And let's try and eat the rich. Let them eat cake.
I'm telling you right now, if the let them eat cake girl from the Met Gala teaches us anything, it's that no matter how famous or influential or popular you are, you absolutely need to have intelligent and well-read people in your circle. You need to have intelligent and well-read people with you at all times. Because how did no one in her entourage, or even just like in the general vicinity, like how did no one hear her say, let them eat cake? And they go, you know what, actually contextually, that's probably not the best choice of words, because here's the historical reference and framework for that. And here's also what's happening in our society right now as a culture. So like maybe choose a different tagline. Have smart people around you. I'm telling you, having a well-read, intelligent person in your inner circle, I don't care how pretty you are, I don't care how famous you are, I don't care how influential you are, I don't care how great your dress is. You need to have a smart person with you at all times.
This is why people are triggered. Because let them eat cake was supposedly said by Marie Antoinette when she was told that her people, the French peasants, were essentially starving to death because at the time France was going bankrupt. France was helping the US settlers in their own revolution against the British Empire, and at the same time colonizing the entire world. So all of France's resources and money was going into maintaining its global power. Sound familiar? The government kept raising its taxes because colonization costs a lot of money. So in the meantime, the people, the regular working class, were starving. So let them eat cake essentially was the catalyst for the French Revolution. And then later on, Marie Antoinette faced the guillotine. So not only is that influencer saying let them eat cake at a time when the people in Gaza are being starved to death, there is a famine in the Sudan, there is a genocide happening in the Congo, and regular people in the United States can't afford groceries. And her outfit was inspired by Marie Antoinette, but this year's Met Gala was inspired by The Garden of Time, which is a short story written by J.G. Ballard. Let me give you the Sparks Notes version of what it says. The Garden of Time is about this very wealthy couple who live in a palatial mansion with a beautiful garden with magical flowers. Okay, this is a sci-fi. And they notice an angry mob coming towards them, and so the Count tries to pluck these time flowers to stop time or go back in time. I forget which one it was. But essentially, he plucks the last time flower and the mob comes and takes over the villa anyway. This theme is so fitting for these times because each ticket to the Met Gala is $75,000 during a time when the wealth gap is bigger than it was during the French Revolution. And most of us peasants have just woken up to the fact that our hard-earned tax dollars go to a foreign entity to then bomb innocent civilians. Like, we are in the middle of a polycrisis and we're watching it in real time on our phones. In a weird twist of irony, Marie Antoinette saying let them eat cake essentially started the French Revolution, and Haley Bailey now saying it like 200 plus years later started the digitine, as they're saying it now, where peasants like us are blocking celebrities and influencers.
Haley. We all know this quote, and it's mainly attributed to Marie Antoinette, although many historians question its veracity because she had to have been around 9 or 10 years old when she said this. Allegedly, she said this during a great famine in France, which ultimately led to the French Revolution. If you have studied the French Revolution, you know that it is all about the economic inequality at the time. The haves and the have-nots. Kind of like today. Just want to clarify that this sound was used because my dress was Marie Antoinette themed. That is the only reason. I would never use this sound for any other meaning. That is heartbreaking. See, Haley, unlike Marie Antoinette, we can actually say that you said this quote because there's video proof of you saying it. And let's just entertain the idea that Marie Antoinette did say this. She was a 9 or 10-year-old girl when she said this, had probably no idea what was going on in France. Unlike you, you are a grown adult. At your big age, you know what is happening. You know the historical context of that quote, or else you wouldn't have commented what you did in your comment section. That lets us know you're very well aware, you're conscious of what is happening.
That was a good idea. It's content like this that just solidifies the fact that influencers of this caliber are just living in a completely different reality. I don't know how much this influencer makes, but given the fact that getting a seat at the Met Gala is like $75,000, I imagine a lot. The economy nowadays is so terrible that the majority of people nowadays are just scraping by. This right here is so tone deaf.
First time I've ever said this, but don't go watch that video. That is Hailey Bailey's outfit to the 2024 Met Gala. The same Met Gala that cost $75,000 per seat when the average US income is $74,580. The same Met Gala that's taking place when there's a literal that's taking place across the world. She's referencing Marie Antoinette with that sound. Hailey lip syncing Let Them Eat Cake shows her obliviousness to the poor conditions that many of us are living in. See, while you're spending ungodly and frivolous amounts of money to sit at a table just to be seen, we are out here busting our butts to ensure our families are fed and our neighbors are fed, not being noticed by any camera. Because what we do isn't for the views. What we're doing is to ensure that humanity still has some semblance of goodness after you fall out. Block the celebrities, don't watch their content, they're doing nothing for the good of humanity. We don't want your cake. We want you to run out of cake. Starve the rich. I'll see myself out.
When I said let them eat cake, what I really meant to say was let us all eat cake together. I wish we could all just come together as a family and put our differences aside and all have world peace of cake. Saying is true, and if we're gonna make all this little fighting stop, it'll take a village to raise these forks and eat this cake. I assure you, I'm listening and I'm learning. I understand why everyone is so upset over my words. I understand how insensitive it is for me to say that everyone should eat cake when there are tens of thousands of people out there who are at risk of dying because they have gluten allergies and can't eat cake. And to that, I just want to say that no one can make you eat cake without your permission. Because my peasants, maybe cake was never really the destination. Maybe cake was the friends we made along the way. So please, let me rephrase what I said. Let he, him. Let she, her. And let they, them eat cake. Cake!
That was a spectacularly poor choice of phrase to use in connection with anything to do with the Met Gala. I mean, you can practically hear them dusting off the guillotine in the background. And I don't want to get into who this person was or how daft that was to actually say that when you're on your way to a convention of millionaires and billionaires, but I do want to talk about the history of that phrase, because as this is being discussed across social media, it has become apparent that there's quite a lot of confusion about the history of that phrase. Let them eat cake, or cueille de la brioche, as it would have been in French, which translates to let them eat brioche bread. But that doesn't sound as good as let them eat cake in translation, so I guess we just stuck with let them eat cake. Most people correctly point out that that is attributed to Marie Antoinette, but she absolutely definitely did not say it. The origins of that phrase go back to Jean-Jacques Rousseau's 1765 book, Confessions, where he talks about a princess, just an anonymous princess, who is told that the poor people are starving, they don't have enough bread, and she says, well, can't they have cake instead? but she's never named. And Marie Antoinette, although she was alive at the time, she was like 9 years old in 1765, so he's definitely not talking about her. But I have seen people saying that the phrase "let them eat cake" was used in the French Revolution, that it was attributed to her at the time, and that it was instrumental in bringing about the revolution, and that is not true. It wasn't used at the time. Historians are pretty firm on that one. In fact, I think it was like 50 years after her death the first time that it's actually attributed to her. It was the French author Alphonse Karr who attributed it to Marie Antoinette, and I think that was in like 1843, so she was well gone by that time. The other thing that I've seen is a little bit of confusion around what the phrase itself actually means. I've seen some people say that it was like, it was almost like goading the poor, like let them eat cake, as in like, you know, come and take our cake from us, I dare you. It definitely didn't mean that. The phrase works so well because it really encapsulates how unaware the aristocrats were, the Queen was, of the plight of the working class. The phrase means, so apparently she was told, she wasn't, but the story goes that she was told that the poor people of Paris were starving, they didn't have enough bread. And she was so out of touch, she went, oh, well, that's sad. Can't they just have cake instead? And even though she never said it, it so brilliantly encapsulates what was going on in France around the time of the Revolution, which was that the rich really did not have a clue how poor people were living their lives or what they were suffering with. And interestingly, there are other variations of this phrase. There's a 7th century Chinese legend of an emperor who said, oh, can't they eat porridge, when he was told that the peasants didn't have enough rice. So even though Marie Antoinette definitely didn't say it, you can see the power of the phrase because it's pissing people off again today that an influencer would say it on their way to the Met Gala. But she didn't say it, and no one was saying it at the time of the revolution either.
So when Marie Antoinette allegedly said, let them eat cake, the French translation was let them eat brioche. And when this was popularized in American history books, we didn't know what brioche was, so we used the word cake. And translation's really interesting because you have to make it mean something in the language you're translating it to, so sometimes a literal translation doesn't always work. And I have some friends that have worked all over the world trying to translate the New Testament into different languages. And in Indonesia, they translated the bread of life to the sweet potato of life. And I had some friends that were working in Papua New Guinea, and they kept telling these people, oh, you gotta accept Jesus into your heart. You gotta accept Jesus into your heart. Even though the Greco-Roman idea of your heart was your mind, because they thought you thought in your heart. But finally, after they had been there for years studying the language, they're like, oh, you gotta accept him into your throat. And people are like, oh, that makes sense. Why didn't you just say so?
Actually, in Chinese history, we have a similar event happen, just like let them eat cake. So during Xi Jin dynasty, there was an empire called Jin Huidi. During his time as empire, there was a huge famine in ancient China. Many crops died, and many people starved because there's no food. So they have to survive on grass or even tree bark. And later on, the empire Jin Huidi heard about this, and he came up with a brilliant idea. He said, well, if the normal people cannot afford eating rice, why can't them just eat mincemeat porridge? And in Chinese, the term is called 何不食肉糜. And this term passed down to modern China. Even right now, people still use this term in social media, and they have two different meanings. The first meaning is sarcasm. When a celebrity or someone who is obviously privileged try to comment on normal people's life and try to make themselves relatable, but they have no idea how normal people's lives are. Many Chinese netizens will use that term as a comeback to call out how tone deaf or unrealistic they are. For example, in the past decade, China's real estate price become really high. Many people cannot afford housing. China's birth rate drop. And one of the so-called experts suggests a solution. He proposed that China try to lower the legal rates for women to get married. So in this case, younger people will get married soon and have more baby. And the second meaning is that many Chinese netizens like to use this term to comment and remind other people, do not judge. Especially, do not judge on someone or something that you are not familiar with. For example, in my previous video, the famous Chinese content creator who gaslighting and asked the people to do some self-reflecting because some people think 79 Chinese yuan per 3 eyebrow pencils is a little bit pricey. And actually, in the previous video, many people claim that this price is pretty affordable. But many people did not know. It might be affordable to you, but it doesn't mean it is affordable to everybody else. You can afford it, doesn't mean it is not expensive. It can be affordable for you, but also a luxury for other people. That's the Chinese version's let them eat cake.
So it said that this, bank collect woman decided to, use this phrase of let them eat cake in terms of it's a kind of a mockery thing that despite what is happening, like the famines, like it was used, during the 18th and all of that, that this was a phrase that was used by, I think he's a teenager or something, that happens to be that is a little bit of famine, hunger and starvation and all of that, and this phrase was used, okay, let them eat cake, like if they are all starving and all that. So people were of the opinion that, okay, there are so many things that is going on right now around the world, around the globe. There is inflection, there is global genocide, there is global warming, there is an ongoing genocide happening in Congo, in Sudan, in Palestine, and these people have to make their tickets to their gala or whatever for 700k, USD and all of that. And all this lady could do was to use a phrase that, which means that, okay, if all of this is happening, I am okay. You can just give them cake, like you can just let them have the bite of cake, since that are in a famine, that are in kind of a situation of, what I mean. So because of this thing, a lot of people have so many, reaction to it, the phrase. A lot of people have so many ideology, people canceling her for using such phrase. And I came to realize that this thing is just something that, they're just they believe that, okay, since I am not in these shoes, I do not care about what is happening in those places. And because of this phrase, a lot of people have decided to boycott so many celebrities. This lady is actually an influential, or influential person, because she actually have about 10 million followers in her platform. So she's an influencer. So because of this, somebody decided to create a platform and named it Block Out Celebrity 2024, because these celebrities actually do not care about people's whereabouts. They don't care about the masses that made them the celeb that they are today. These celebrities do not care about how people, or about what is happening. Why is it that most of them do not even have, even if it's a one video of so many things that is happening, to actually even talk about it, to use their large audience to talk about it? But if you watch, none of them have such a video. They're all just living their life, living their normal celebrity lifestyle, without even thinking about, okay, what about my followers, what is happening to them? There is something going on in Gaza, there is something going on in Sudan, in Congo and all of that. And people decided that, okay, since you are like, we should just eat cake, we should like, sort ourselves out. We are gonna do that by blocking you people out. That is this actually what prompted the Block Out 2024 that you guys are saying all over social media. I actually stitched the video. You can check most of my videos, you see the Block Out 2024 that I did. So these people decided that we do not care about what is happening. We just want to live our lives. We just want to enjoy our gala wherever. We just want to, get tickets, sell our tickets. Meanwhile, there are some set of individuals whom do not have such opportunity. They're not even looking for such opportunity. They're looking for opportunity to actually feed at least 3 times in a day. They're looking for opportunity to actually, wake up and not realize that I might be attacked. But these people, they don't care. They don't want to talk about the real issue in the society. They don't want to talk about the real issue that is affecting the layman, that is affecting the just bare minimum. All they care about is the celebrity lifestyle, travel, do all sort of things, while people that is actually following them are wallowing. Even if nobody is trying to tell you to go to the war front, no, but you already have the means, like you have huge followers. You have huge followers that you might probably, talk something or say something in your platform that might be for their own betterment. So this actually got a lot of people reacting, and people were like canceling her, people were like coming for her. I think she already made a video that has to do with, like, I think it's an apology that she did not know about the phrase. She wasn't taking it that way. We were not taking it that way, and you're a matured person, you know, you're in the system, you know what is happening in system, you know, most of all this celebrity type of thing. They will do something, and when they will see that they're being cancelled, they will just try to like look for a way to, you know, cover it up. A lot of people are like, some celebrities are beginning to talk about what is happening in all of these places because of what? Because people are blocking them out. So it takes people to block them out before they know that they're supposed to do the right thing. It takes people to block these people out before they will now realize that, okay, I need to do the right thing. Like, seriously, lovelies. Anyways, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or so we're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. And I want to use this medium to say a very big shout out to my newest subscribers. A very big shout out to those people that share my videos, that leave commentaries. This is actually my backup channel. If you're coming from Belinda's channel, thank you so much for all the love and support. I cannot take all your love, your gestures for, you know, stranded. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that, turn notification bell, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.